Husker scientists rewrite the book on nitrogen fertilizer. I'm Steve White. It's all about protecting the farmer's bottom line, but also protecting our important groundwater resource.
Here, this well out here, when we started in 1986, it was somewhere between 24 and 28 parts per million.
High nitrates in his family well forced Curtis Rorick to cut back on fertilizer.
It's cleaning up the water. It's taken time, but it was a great program.
That program came from regulations the Central Platte Natural Resources District issued in the 80s.
Met with a lot of resistance.
Rorick said farmers were reluctant to produce fertilizer.
There was a minimum, a blanket you threw 200 pounds on, maybe more. Nitrogen was cheap, and you were going after high bushels, and that was the way to get after it.
Now nitrate hotspots light up on the map, the legacy of too much fertilizer that leached into the groundwater.
You start to push towards maximizing yield and not necessarily maximizing profit, then that starts to allow nitrate to accumulate and move into the groundwater.
In 2015, Dr. Richard Ferguson began a new research project with a novel concept.
We're seeing that the use of satellite sensing technology really helps us improve both efficiency of use and profitability.
That technology has now been commercialized, using satellite mapping to show farmers like Rorick when to fertilize.
You know, how green it is to show how much nitrogen is there. And, they look at it, we come up with a plan, we put our applied nitrogen on, at scheduled times, and then they look at it and you need less or you need more.
Ferguson says the data is conclusive as he rewrites the university's guidelines with significant changes. Do you have some pretty high hopes that this kind of technology could make a real dent?
Well, personally, I see it as the future. I think for farmers it will be beneficial economically, and for the population of the state it will be beneficial long-term environmentally.
Applying nitrogen fertilizer in the fall or a large application pre-planting is not recommended. The new guidance calls for most fertilizer to be applied during the growing season, shown to maximize profitability and reduce the environmental impact.
Bottom line is the dollar, and that's what we're chasing.
Rorick saw added expense and paperwork when regulations took effect in the 80s, but now says it's the best thing that could have happened. The nitrate level in his well is half what it was, and now sensor-based technology brings a new level of precision, even if there's more work during the growing season.
Change is tough, but I think if they look at the science and the facts and the data, that they'll find that they can do it.
And while these are guidelines, scientists say it's based on years of data and on-farm research, and they hope producers will begin to implement some of these practices. Reporting in Wood River, I'm Steve White.
Thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. And for the latest news anytime, download the NTV News app.